For those of you that don't know me, my name is 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙣. I'm an independent member with Cashfx. I've been with the company now for just under 11 months. It's been a very good experience, and everything the company's doing is fantastic, and the way the business is moving forward is one of the best things. Well, it is the best thing I've ever seen since I've been in the industry for now 20 years. I've never seen anything like this. I'm excited to have this call with you today because the things that we're going to be covering are really, really important. If your aim is to make money with Cashfx, there are certain things that you need to be doing to enable you to do that. One of the great things about network marketing is the fact that it is a great leveler. Doesn't matter what your background is, you can be successful in the business. But there are certain key things, as I said, you have to have certain mindsets, etc., that will enable you to be successful. Because like everything in life, you know, it's not, you know, going to be plain sailing. You know, when you see a top leader in a business, things just don't turn up. It just doesn't just happen. It's often very easy to look at leaders and think, oh, well, you know, they're lucky because of this or because of that. It's all right for them because they can do this, that, and the other. No, I mean, I've seen leaders from all walks of life. I've seen people that have come from abject poverty. I've seen people that are, you know, not achieved any success in anything previously, and yet they've gone on to achieve amazing results in network marketing. So this is a great thing about this business. It's a great leveler, and the purpose of this call is to just give you some ideas on how you can become one of those people if that's your goal, if you want to make a lot of money with Cashfx. So let me just share my screen. Just bear with me 1 second. I just want to make sure that I've got 2 PowerPoints open at the moment. Just want to make sure this is the correct one. I think it is. Okay. So what we're going to be covering on this call is a combination of things: goal setting, and actual practical, you know, how to actually make money with the business moving forwards. So we're going to go into sort of the detail after we've gone through the process of setting things up in your mind. So let's just start off with, let me just bring up the slideshow. There we go. Okay, what I'm going to be covering on the call. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about why goals are so important, because so many people go through life without ever setting goals, and we'll be covering why that's, you know, if you want to be successful in something, you have to be very specific in what you're doing. Another area I'm going to be looking at is understanding the real potential of your Cashfx business for you. It's something that I often happen when I speak to people, and I can tell they don't really know what they're in with Cashfx. And it's so important that you do understand that, because once you do understand that, that will give you then the motivation to get out there and actually do, you know, build the business. So I'm going to be going through also the specifics of goal setting, a plan of action, and basically working that plan. So what is the goal? Well, basically, there's a key difference. You know, if you're sort of a wish, if you have a wish or a dream, that's not a goal setting. And if you sort of say, oh, you know, I'd like to be, you know, wealthy, I'd like to be making this much money, you know, I'd like to have this car, I'd like to have this house, this holiday. Those are wishes and dreams. Those are not goals. Goals are very specific, and they focus you on a commitment to take action to achieve those goals. And this is the reason why goals are so important. Without a target to aim at, you know, how are you going to hit anything? This is the thing. You know, if you haven't got a very specific thing to aim at, you're basically just drifting around all over the place without any focus. And this is a fact. In 1979, a Harvard business study found that the 3% of graduates from their MBA course who had their goals written down, key thing written down, ended up earning 10 times as much as the other 97% put together in just 10 years after graduation. And that is a very clear indicator of the importance of goal setting. So first of all, goals give you a target to aim for. As I said, if you don't have a target to aim for, you're just drifting around. You've got nothing to shoot at. Let me just bring off the stop video. They help you prioritize your time and effort. They give you the motivation and persistence to focus on goals and provide you with a roadmap to get you from A to B. If you see any leader in Cashfx, I can guarantee you they are goal orientated. They are focused on the next goal, so it is so important to be like that. Now, the first thing is really important that you actually grasp the potential of what you have here with Cashfx. As I said, I speak to people all the time, and I can see that they've really not got any idea. I sometimes come across or hear of people that are actually in the business, and they're actually referring people to another business. And I'm like, wow, they clearly have no idea what they've got with Cashfx. So it is really important that you grasp the potential of what you've got here. And the first thing you must do is study the due diligence. Those of you that have seen my presentations, I very much focus on this. This is one of the reasons why I have the belief in the business, because once you understand the company is real, what they're doing is real, the way they're moving forward, the investment they're putting into the company and all the other things that are going on. And, if you have that knowledge, then that gives you the strength and belief in the business to go out there and put in the effort to be able to go and build a business. So really study the due diligence, get your own belief levels up. And again, really understand the potential of the rewards plan. I think there's a lot of people that, again, don't really understand Cashfx. Now, I think the reason for that is because what Cashfx is doing just hasn't been done before. It is so clever the way they've set this business up. It took them 8 months to put together the rewards plan, and a business where you don't have any upfront fees, you don't have any monthly fees that auto ship, which cause attrition, and yet a business that pays out 10 times more than any other business I've been upfront, let alone if you fast forward a few years from now, when your same team are all up on the 50, 70, 100K contracts, the amount of money that can be earned from the business then, it is unprecedented. And the leaders that are in the business, that are working business, they understand this, and they are very excited about it, because you can change your life completely with Cashfx. The rewards plan is so powerful that if you end up doing a little bit, you're still going to make extraordinary amounts of money with the business. I mean, again, just look at some of the snapshots there. Things like, for example, the fast start. I mean, I go through this when I'm going through my presentations, but the fact is you can introduce someone for $300, and when they get up to the 100K contract, you're going to be making $15,000 every few months, once, possibly even twice a year, from even just a passive member. If they're a business builder, so for example, John, my enroller, I'm going to be, at the moment, renewing my contract every 3 to 4 months. So he's going to be receiving $15,000 plus the U level, another $1,500 every few months from just me, just one person in his business. In many other businesses, you'd actually have to build a big business to be making that kind of money. That's just from one person. So imagine a business where you go and introduce 10 people like that. That's $150,000 you're going to be getting paid from those people once they're on the 100K contract every few months. Hopefully this evening there's a leadership call with 𝙏𝙗𝙖𝙣 for executives above, where he's going to be announcing the upgrade to the EA system. And we could potentially see returns as high as 15% on a weekly basis. That is insane. That is going to massively accelerate the business. That is going to massively put more money into people's pockets. And it also means that people, passive members, will get up to the 100K contract much faster. And once they are, they'll be cycling much faster as well. They'll be renewing that contract. So it's really important you understand and really grasp what you have with Cashfx, because you can change your life. If you go to work with this business, you can genuinely change your life. Plug yourself into all the events. By the way, congratulations, guys. You're on this training call. So again, you are plugging yourself into the events. Knowledge is power. Understand your business, become an expert in your business, be involved in your business, because that will then give you the motivation again you need. It's all about being motivated. Originally, when I first went into the corporate world, I graduated in business and I went into marketing, and I realized that marketing wasn't really for me, because I was getting paid a salary and I just didn't like that. So I ended up going into sales, because there was that carrot. You know, if I did this and I got that sale, I was going to get paid those additional commissions. So it was that motivation that kept me going. So it's really important that you are motivated with your business. Once you can see what you can do with this business and understand it, then again, that will really motivate you to get out there and build the business. And that's the key thing. Treat your Cashfx business like a real business. One of the things about, in fact, I'd like to chat an additional thing. Yeah, stick in a carrot. There we go. One of the key advantages of a network marketing business is that, unlike a traditional business, there's only there's no stick. What I mean by that is this: if you set up a traditional business, whatever it is, where you've got, you know, an office, you've got overheads, you've got employees, all these kinds of things. There is obviously the carrot that you're doing that because you want to make money from doing that, but you also have a very significant stick hanging over your head, in that if you don't make the business a success, then, you know, you're going to go bankrupt, because, you know, all these people are going to lose their jobs and everything else. So when you wake up in a morning and you're feeling like, I really don't want to do this, guess what? You get up and you do it anyway, because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, your business is going to go out of business. So that's a key advantage of Cashfx, is we don't have that stress of having those kinds of things. It's one of the reasons why I went into the industry. I love the idea of that. However, we don't have the stick is also a disadvantage, because it basically means that you have to be self-motivated. So all of this stuff is really important, that you have this understanding, this belief, this excitement. Again, if you look at the leaders in the business, they are very excited about what they're doing. They've got a clear vision of where they're going with the business. They are positioning themselves to make a very, very serious amount of money with the business. That is their motivation. So many other people are just sort of drifting along in the business. They don't really know what they're in, and, you know, they might make the odd phone call or send out the odd text message. You know, if you get to the end of the week, for example, and you've made one phone call or sent out just a couple of text messages, okay, are you seriously doing the business? Well, you're not. And if you compare that, if you were in a traditional business and you behave like that, how long would you be in business? Not very long. But the other thing you've got to understand is, compare this business with a traditional business. And this is why I'm doing this and not a traditional business. Because how many traditional businesses do you know that can enable you to start with just $300 one time, not put a penny more into the business, no overheads or employees, and can generate a turnover of $3.6 million per month in sales? That's $43 million a year in under 11 months. Guys, be in no doubt, this is an incredibly serious business, way beyond, you know, someone goes, oh, you know, I've got to go and set up my shop. Fantastic, you'll make a living, maybe. But this is a business that can make you a millionaire. No two ways about it, if you go to work. And seriously, again, if you look at the leaders, they've got one thing in common. They can be very different individuals. They can be from very different backgrounds. Doesn't matter. They've all got the one thing in common. They are working extremely hard on their businesses. And as I'm going to show you, they're also very goal focused. They're always working towards the next goal. And so this is why this is so important. So one of the first things with regard to setting your goal is your why. Because if you don't have a why, if you don't have a why, so a really strong why, you'll never find a how. Now, when I first got involved in network marketing, I was a corporate sales director at the time with a commute. And as a highly paid City of London director, I was working very long hours. So I often hear this, oh, you know, I'm busy with my job, I'm busy with my business, I don't have time to do your business. You have time. What you're doing is you're choosing not to make time to make the business. When I first started, I was motivated by the fact that I hated what I was doing. So I had a very strong why. My why was to get me out of the corporate world at all costs. That was what I wanted to do. Now, was that easy? Absolutely not. So because I had very little time to invest in the business. So what I had to do is I realized I had to sacrifice because I had a strong why. So I basically, whenever I was in the car, I was on the phone. Whenever I had a lunch break, I was on the phone. When I got home late at night, I went on the phone, and I would work until late. And then, I'd get back up in the morning early to go to the job. If I was, waiting for a meeting, I was on the phone. My weekends were taken up with meetings and phone calls and et cetera, et cetera. I worked very, very hard. But the reason I did that was because I had a strong, strong, strong why. So you have to really think about this. Why are you doing this business? If you have the attitude that it'd be nice to make a lot of money, but maybe I will never make that or whatever, then you're never going to make that. As Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you think you can't, you're probably right. So you have to change your mindset. You've got a vehicle here. And for those of you that was on the training call last week, we've also got one of the best systems I've ever seen for enabling people to actually recruit people into the business. We're calling it the Power Build system now, using the text message system. You don't have to exclusively use that, but as part of the portfolio of things that you can do to approach people is fantastic. So you've got an amazing system you can use to get out there and get people on the presentations. And we know that when people are on the presentations, we have an extremely high strike rate with that. Maybe 8 or 9 out of 10 people actually join the business. So that's the key, the trick. You get people on those presentations, you will get people into the business. So you've got all of that. Everything you've got, you need is there to build your business. We've got a business, as I said, this is why you need to go through the rewards plan and everything else, which is the best business I've ever seen. The due diligence on the company stacks up. It is fantastic across the board. So you've got everything there right in front of you. The last bit of the puzzle is you. So you have to decide, are you going to take this business seriously? And when I say seriously, I mean seriously. Put in the effort. So think about your why. Why are you in the business? What do you want from this business? Is it something that is really important to you? Because remember, when I started, it was really, really, really important to me that I got out of the corporate world. And it was hard, hard, hard work, but it was worth it. A year, I can't remember, a year and a half in, I sacked my boss, and there I was, building the business full time. That was such an exciting time for me when I did that. So think about your why. It is so important. As I said, without a strong enough why, you ain't going to find the how. So really spend some time thinking about that. So goals, right. So what is a SMART goal? Let me just bring these all up actually. Okay. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, action plan, realistic timeframes. Often people think a goal is sort of saying something like, it would be, I'd really like to be a manager, or, I want to be a manager, or even I'm going to be a manager. That's not a goal, okay? It has to be very specific in every aspect. It has to be measurable. It has to have an action plan to get there. It has to be realistic, and it has to have a time frame. So, for example, you might say to yourself, I want to get to executive, but you've got to be, I'm going to get to executive by this time frame. So that is a measurable thing. It's within a time frame, and you're then going to put an action plan together to get there. And getting to executive is realistic. Sort of coming into the business and sort of saying, right, I'm going to be president or a global ambassador, when you haven't even been in the business for a week, that is not realistic. So it's important you keep to those points. And the key thing is you don't climb to the top of a mountain in one go. You break the journey down into small steps, or as the joke goes, how do you eat an elephant? It's a bite at a time. And that is so important, because I often see people come into the business, they're excited, and they go, yes, I'm going to be a global ambassador. Well, that's great. But the problem is with that is that's too far away. And the further the goal is, the less impact it will have. You've got to have a goal that is just there. Just out of reach, okay? Not one that's 50 miles away, because what's going to happen if you have a goal like that? it's kind of really, it's too far away, and so you don't even take the first step. So if you're climbing a mountain, for example, your first goal is to get to base camp, and then you go to the next camp, then the next camp, then the next camp. So this is the key: break it down into smaller steps. So focus on closer and more immediate goals. Goals like, for example, introduce your first 3 people by. Notice you're going to see by. You have to put the time frame in it. Advance to executive by. Earn X amount of money by. Advance to manager by. And write your goals down. That's a key thing. If they're not written down, they are not goals. Remember, with regard to the Harvard Business School, the people that had their goals written down, those were the people that went on to earn 10 times more money than all the others put together in just 10 years. Create accountability by sharing your goals with your support team. And in fact, I've done exactly that. A few months ago, I actually put my goals down and shared them with my group. And I've now achieved all of those goals bar one, which is I'm currently working on at the moment. I haven't set any more goals from there because that's my focus. I'm laser focused on my next goal that I'm working towards. Commit to non-negotiable daily activity targets, because as I've already said, it's very easy with network marketing to get to the end of the week and you haven't done anything. It's no big deal. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. It's a bit like me trying to lose weight. I keep on saying I'm going to do it next week. And of course, you just don't get around to it if you do it like that. The analogy I often use with network marketing, it's a bit like pushing a big snowball up a hill. You're pushing and pushing. It's really hard work getting it up the hill. If you stop pushing that snowball up the hill for any period of time, guess what? It just rolls back down the hill again. And so you have to start again. So you've got to just keep pushing that snowball up the hill until you get it over the edge and it starts to roll away. And once that happens, you can't stop it. Then it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I can't stop my team now. My team is growing faster and faster and faster now, because I've pushed that snowball over the hill. So you've got to commit to daily activities. You do not want to get to the end of the week and have not done anything. Again, if you're doing that, by the way, go back and have a look at your why. Why are you doing this business? How important? It's clearly not that important to you. If you've got to the end of the week and you haven't been doing activities, then maybe that why is not quite strong enough. As I said, this is why you need that strong why. Prepare an action plan, and that's something I'll talk about in a second. And look at your goals at least once every day and being excited about achieving them, and imagine what it feels like when you have. Again, when I talk to the guys on my team, they're pushing to get to manager or pushing to get to director. They are focused on that, and they're looking at it every day. They're assessing their business, etc. And you're not setting expectations. You're not trying to hit your goal. You will hit your goal. Buy. That buy is so important. You've got to have that buy. And by the way, you don't always hit your goals. That often is the case. And if you are, again, passionate and doing it right, guess what? You're going to be disappointed if you don't hit your goal. But that's okay. That's exactly what you want, because what it is, your mindset is, my goal is there. I'm going to hit my goal. It's not an option. You're not hitting my goal. If you don't hit the goal, you're like, damn, I didn't hit my goal. But guess what? You're nearly there. It's always the way. If you have goals, something to aim for, even if you don't hit them, you'll be so much further ahead than if you didn't have a goal. If you didn't have a goal, you wouldn't be getting anywhere. If you have a goal, you might miss that goal on the time frames front, but you'll be close. That's it. You keep pushing until you get it. So it's okay to be disappointed if you don't hit a goal. So put together an action plan. Begin with an end in mind. So, what is the goal? There it is. So now I'm going to work back from there. Break down what is required to achieve the goal. For example, for executive, you need 3 personals, you need to have $1,000 contract, you need to have 25,000 points. So break down what is needed, and then detail what activities you need to be focusing on to get the job done. And then basically work the plan. Constantly monitor your progress. And it's gone off. We seem to have gone off this. Oh, there we go. Identify where there are weaknesses that need addressing. And this is a key thing all the time. I do this all the time. I look at my business and I say, right, what is needed? Where are the weaknesses? Where are things that need to be addressed. You know, this isn't happening, that isn't happening, but I need this to happen for this to happen. So I'm constantly monitoring the progress of my business here, and I'm identifying weak areas that need to be addressed. And one thing I don't do is I don't wait for other people. You know, always ask what you need to be doing, not what they need to be doing. You know, I often hear this, oh, when Fred does this, I'm going to do that. You know, no, you don't wait for Fred. You basically get on it, you make it happen for yourself. Okay, that is so important. The buck stops with you. I often say this to people, you know, life and everything is going to always put obstacles in your way. You're always going to have that. Leaders, what they do is they tend to go over, around it, under it, through it if necessary, but they always get the job done. The buck always stops with you. It's your business. You're not relying on other people. If people are not stepping up, and if people are, you know, not excited about the business, and don't try and make them, you know, don't try and make a three of clubs into an ace. It's always going to be a three of clubs. You're looking for the aces to work with. So, you know, if you haven't got an ace in your business, go and find one. Keep laser focused on the prize. Again, this gets back to, as I said, constantly looking at your goals, and you know, this is imagining where you're going to be. You really want to be there, and then just do it until the job gets done. I'm sure you've seen that fantastic video by Art Williams with that presentation where he talks about this. This is something, again, you see different leaders, very different personalities from different countries all around the world, but they have one thing in common. Again, they are on it. I drive my wife completely mad because I'm on it all the time. All she ever sees is the top of my head. I'm on my phone constantly, you know, texting people, talking to people, presentations, you know, putting these presentations today, for example, I was working on it until 4 o'clock this morning. The night before, I worked on it until 4 o'clock in the morning as well, and I actually deleted the whole thing at the end of the day. Wasn't very happy, so I had to do the same thing last night. But that's the business. You know, I'm excited about this. I want to make this happen. So I'm on it. If you look at all the leaders, the successful people in this business, they're the same. They're on it, which gets back to the fact that they've done their due diligence. They understand the plan. They understand how massive this company is going to be. And the fact is they're positioning themselves. I have people sitting on the fence, you know, saying, oh, you know, I'll wait until this, wait until that. Well, let me tell you guys, have you ever met a millionaire that sat on the fence? I haven't. They don't. They just go and do it. And they keep doing it until the job gets done. So that's really another key thing. And it's just a numbers game. So the more prospects you approach using the Power Build system, the more people you will have on the presentations, the more new members you will have, and the faster your business and income will grow. This is why this business is a great leveler, because it's just down to that. And using the Power Build system, for example, it will enable you to build this. It doesn't matter what your background is. You can use the system to build the business. And you know, I always love this, using Hazel as an example for this. Hazel Moore is a member of my team. She's a 68-year-old grandmother. She's probably on the call somewhere, and you know, she's never done this business before. But guess what? She is on it, and she's doing the numbers game. Funny enough, she was actually one of the people that gave me the inspiration to put the Power Build system together with Ray. Ray's been doing it for years, so he's a master of doing it. And it was that combination. But I saw what Hazel was doing, the fact that when she first started, all she was doing, she actually made a point to saying to me that she never picked up the phone. She always just sent messages. And she's enrolled 37 people, probably more now, into this business. And remember, with that fast start, she's going to be making $900,000 a year from that once all her people get up to the 100K contract. So that's what we've got here, and it's just a numbers game. If you're doing the activities, then, you know, as I often say in the presentation, how many people do you want to introduce? The more you introduce with this, the more money you're going to make. And a key thing, there are going to be setbacks and disappointments every step of the way. One of the key things about network marketing is learning how to manage your disappointments. But the fact is, you must understand that it's not just you. It's exactly the same for everyone. You see a top leader, they've probably had a lot more disappointments and setbacks than you. And so the same wind, it's one of my favorite sayings by a gentleman called Jim Rohn. For those of you that don't know him, he was a world-class network marketing trader. He was someone that really inspired me in the early days, because when I first started, I thought it was going to be easy. I remember at the time I set up 10 appointments with 10 people that I definitely knew would do it. And guess how many joined my business? Not one of them. I think 2 or 3 of them told me I joined some weird scheme or cult or something, I think. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, okay, this isn't going to be as easy as I thought. But I started studying the market and realized that there were certain things that I was doing that was wrong. The corporate world doesn't necessarily translate to the network marketing world, but I also understood that if other people could do it, then so could I. And I read story after story with people like, for example, Dexter Yeager. Dexter was with Amway, and when he first started, he worked in a brewery, just moving barrels around. He had zero credibility. He had the world's worst stutter. A 20-minute presentation would take him 2 hours of excruciating stuttering and everything else. And guess what? He's now a mega millionaire, one of the top income earners in that business. So again, it gets back to the fact that he obviously had a very strong why, and he set his goals and he went to work on those goals. And over time, and guess what? He doesn't even have a starter now, because of course he's so confident in everything that he does. So Jim, as I said, he was a real mentor to me. I never met the guy. I know, in fact, there are people in the business that have actually met Jim, but he was someone that gave me, and I used to listen to his Building Your Network Marketing Business tape again and again and again to get myself understanding the industry and the motivation. And this is the great saying that he came up with: the same wind blows on all of us. It is the set of your sail that will determine your destination. Such a key thing. And he's so correct. So it doesn't matter. Everyone has the same environment. I often hear, oh, it's more harder here, this, that, the other. No, it's the same everywhere, but you then have to make the difference. And if you don't have SMART goals, something to aim for, you are just going to drift in the wind and never reach your destination. And that's such a true thing. So this is why goal setting is so important. And as I've already said, network marketing is the great lever. And this is another great quote from a gentleman called Calvin Coolidge. He was president of the US. I think it was back in the 1920s. And basically it goes like this: nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. And that is so true. So consistent, constant activity is the key. If you see a Cashfx leader achieving success, I will show you someone who is laser focused on their SMART goals, and someone who's on it and on it and on it and on it until the job gets done. Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful regarding goals. So, and you understand how important it is to have goals now. And as I said, so that's my recommendation. After this call, sit down, think about your why you're in the business. Start thinking about looking into the business, understand your business, become an expert in it. As I said, there are so many people on the periphery that don't even know what they're in. They don't even realize that they're in a business that could change their lives. And they might have introduced a couple of friends and just left it at that. So get that understanding of the business, and then sit down, put your SMART goals down, and then focus on those, focus on what you want to achieve, and then go to work. Use the tools, use the system, and how that works. So just to recap what we've shown here, you've got a business. So first of all, understand what you've got. That's so important. You don't understand what you've got, you're not going to go anywhere. So do your due diligence on the company. Go through, watch the presentations where we go through the due diligence. Understand how important that is. Look at, let me just actually mute everyone. Just 1 second. Understand how important that is. Once you've got that foundation, then you can build from there. Use the tools to build the business. We've got amazing, this is one of the reasons I was so excited last week when we launched the Power Build system, because, I've been in the industry a long time. There's always been that battle. How do we give people a system that works? I've seen presentations and trainings. Heck, I've done trainings where we're talking about scripts and things like this. people can't use scripts mostly. I mean, you know, even I struggle to use a script. You know, someone's phoning up their friend and sort of saying, hello, David, it is Richard here, and I am reading a script. It's terrible. It doesn't work very well. And then you start handling objections and all this kind of thing. That's advanced sales stuff. And that's, for most people, that's not going to happen. So using the PowerPoint system, which is incredibly effective, it makes all of you, every single person in business, regardless of your background and ability, the same level. You're just as good as the very best people in the business. And that's what I've seen. Ray is using the same system, but he's on it. He's motivated, he's goal setting. As you can see there, as he went through his business, he's very conscious of where he needs to be to get to his next level. He's laser focused. He has got smart goals, and he's focusing on those goals and working towards those. So I hope you found this call helpful, guys. As I said, become a goal-oriented person. Be like those people in Harvard that became goal setters, wrote their goals down. They were the ones that were making 10 times more money than all the others put together. Be those people if you can, with this business model, with where this company is going to be in the coming months and years. You will change your life forever, that's for sure. So thanks very much, guys. I'm going to be having our usual 2 p.m. call. So again, get your prospects on that call. Remember, we have a very high strike rate with that, because when people see the reality, no hype, no rah-rah, basically facts and figures, going through the due diligence on the business, seeing the big picture, seeing how important this company is, you've got a very good chance of introducing people. So every time you get someone on those calls, you know, you're going to be building your team, which is a key thing. So do that. And we're going to, as I said, we're going to be doing these training calls every week. We might recycle some of the stuff that we've done previously, but the fact is, we're going to have those all new people and yourselves get plugged into these trainings as well. So once again, thanks very much for listening in. Have a great day or evening, depending on where you are around the world. Thanks very much.